In this segment, we'll be going over the user interface or the user portal. So the end user interface allows Switchvox users to manage a variety of phone features such as their extension settings, contacts, conferences, voicemail, call reports, and access to the switchboard.
To access the user portal from either a desktop or tablet, users will navigate to the Switchvox IP or URL, which ends in /main, using their extension number and their portal password to authenticate. As a reminder, the portal password for each user is set under the security section in the extension settings. As you can see here under the profile information tab if you're in the admin section. This can also be changed by users themselves given the permissions by going to features and my account. And again under the security section. Now once logged in, users will be shown a series of information tours to help them become more familiar with using the portal features. On the right of that is some additional assistance if needed with the Sangoma knowledge base. The top menu consists of various call control and phone setting features, as well as account modifications, as well as voicemail and reporting tools. Right of that, we have a desktop softphone download for the user, which allows them to install the pre-configured Sangoma phone based on their distinct user profile. We'll cover that more in depth in the softphones video. Next to that, we have the launch button for the switchboard, and next to that is our status indicator and status message. The ability to modify certain settings under the features menu is determined by the extension permission settings given to the users at the extension or group level. If permitted, users also have the ability to change their own login and voicemail passwords under features My Account, along with other settings such as their email, profile picture, and sound prompt language. It's important that users are familiar again with that status indicator, as the status will change how call handling for incoming call behaves as well. For example, changing the status from available to busy or away could reroute calls to voicemail, or if the user is part of a queue, they will not receive calls even while logged into the queue should they have some sort of an away status. A more likely and widely used method of changing a user status would be the Sangoma phone, which allows you to do that from here, and even in the switchboard. Speaking of which, let's head over to the switchboard. Now, although admins can set up switchboard templates and assign them to users or groups, once a user is in fact into the switchboard, they can set up and manage their switchboard layouts just as an admin would. If you'd like to become more familiar with the switchboard, please see the dedicated switchboard video. There is a click to dial function at the top where you can enter a phone number, followed by the dial button click, which will ring your soft phone and dial out to that number. We've also got various contacts on the right hand side that can be called either internal or external contacts, and for switchboard layouts you can click on the layouts here and either switch between them if you have multiple created already. You can create a new one by giving it a name and adding some sort of widgets of call information that you'd like to receive. For example, my calls, I can choose the information I'd like to portray in the widget and create my own custom dashboard layout. Again, we'll look at the switchboard in detail in a later video. I'll finish the switchboard off with the settings here, where you can set your notifications with the notification types and the extension you'd like to make those click to call calls with, or when clicking on a contact, for example, which device will receive the phone call that you're about to make.
In this segment, we're covering voicemail management from the user interface. Accessing visual voicemail for users is as easy as logging into the user portal. Of course, if we're an admin and we want to sudo into the account, we can come to the Manage Extensions page here, and we can click on the Login as this user icon. So under the voicemail and fax menu, we'll find our mailbox right here, which displays a list of all of our users' voicemail messages along with their specific call details. In addition to having the call statistics such as the caller ID, name and number, date and time received, which mailbox that the message was left in, the duration, we also have the action button, which allows us to play the message. Next, we'll want to ensure that our greetings are recorded and our voicemail settings are properly configured. So let's head over to the voicemail options. So under the greetings menu tab here, we'll see the system default full name greeting. And that determines the system will read your extension number instead of playing back your full name when giving callers the reason you're not available to take their call. For example, extension 100 is on the phone opposed to Matt Martin is on the phone. So it currently isn't personalized. You can read more about that description by hovering over the description icon. You're also going to see the full name tab here next to it. So that by default, what the system will do is actually read out your full name during a directory instead of playing your actual recorded name, as well as reading your extension information in voicemail. So we're going to want to personalize that.
To do that, we're going to click on Create Recording.
And the recording type is either full name or greeting for either tab. I'm just going to call it my name. You can choose between recording the audio over the phone, or you can upload the file from hard drive. However you prefer. You're going to get a little bit better quality if you record it from another source other than the phone and then upload it. For example, a Windows recorder tool. So for this example, I'm going to use the record over phone method. And instead of my primary extension, I'm going to use the phone that's closest to me. And if I hit ring extension,
please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press the pound key.
Matt Martin. So my recording was successful and I can now save. I'm going to head back to create greetings with the recording type now set to greeting. And I can record my main voicemail message in the same way, followed by one of the unavailable or busy greetings if you prefer a different greeting for either or. In this case, I'm just going to create the same greeting for unavailable and busy. Record over the phone again.
Please leave your message after the tone. When done, hang up or press the pound key.
Hi, you've reached Matt with Sangoma. Not available. Please leave a message and I'll get right back to you. So I'm going to replace the system default unavailable and busy greeting as well as my main greeting with that recording. So if the extension has the appropriate permissions, you can also set timeframes for when specific greetings will be played using the greeting rules. And I've got one set up here called vacation. And you can see here that when my status is to extended away and vacation, any time of day, doesn't have to be during business hours or outside. I'm going to change my unavailable and busy greetings to my vacation message, which I've already previously recorded. So you can create new ones by clicking the Create Greeting Rule button here. You can customize your voicemail notifications using Create Voicemail Notification. We've got the ability to forward to other email addresses and use different templates, external, default, mobile, SMS, for example, depending how it's going to render on the other side, and whether we attach the voice file as a wave. And if we want to remove a copy locally and just keep that copy that was sent to our receiving end, be it email or SMS, etc., we can click this, save disk space, and not have them show up on our phone as a voicemail waiting for us. We can customize our notifications as well with notification templates. If you click Create Notification Template, you'll see here that you've got a list of available template variables that you can insert into either the subject or the message body of the relevant voicemail message. So voicemail forwarding is extremely useful when a user is away for extended periods, or they've left the company, or when they're unavailable to receive time-sensitive messages. So you can simply just enable voicemail forwarding. Again, that delete on forward option. The forward type, send to all, will send to everybody in the group that's been selected here. In this case, it's a list of our extension groups. You can also select round robin, and that's going to just send a voicemail to a single user within the group, and each time it's going to go through the list of extensions and send to the next person in round robin fashion. So once you're logged in, we'll start by going to the Features tab and clicking on Call Rules. Now, call rules determine when people can call you and at what time, depending on your status, meaning availability, whether you're in the office, away on vacation, and they're set in priorities. You can set up multiple scenarios for different situations. Now, I've got two examples here. The first one is a default do not disturb when I don't want to be disturbed, and the other one is the default standard, which is applicable by default at any time in any status. Let's go over these in a little bit more detail. And to do so, we can hit the modify button here, and let's go to the settings tab. So the rule set name is determined by either us or the system, and this one is default do not disturb. So the time frame is anytime. The alternatives are either customized time frames, or we've got some defaults outside business hours during weekends only. And the rule set status is any do not disturb. So essentially what this rule is saying is at any time in the day, if my status is do not disturb, this rule set will be applicable. Now if we head over to the Actions tab, we can see that the first action that the system will do while we're in that busy status is decline queue calls immediately. So if we're part of a queue, whether it be sales, support, or any other type of queue, we will not receive calls from the outside callers. The second action is to send the call to voicemail. So anyone that's not part of a queue that does call me during that rule set will go to voicemail. We can edit these as well. For example, what type of call is sent to voicemail, so it could be direct, queue, or all calls. And the number of times to ring the previous rule, which was decline call queues immediately in this particular example. So we can have immediately or after a certain ring duration, and this will be applicable in other situations. And we'll go over setting up our own rule set in a moment. So heading back over to the rule sets, let's check out what's happening with our default standard. So the setting here again is any time of day, and the status is any. So any status that's applicable. It's send to voicemail. So send direct calls to voicemail after 5 rings. So it will ring our soft phone or our desk phone or any phone that we have for 5 rings. Then it will go to voicemail. It's set to direct calls, so we can say queue calls as well, or all calls. Normally in a queue environment, you wouldn't necessarily want that because you'll want someone else to pick up calls from the queue rather than somebody calling in to reach your voicemail. So we can extend this certainly if on average we are unable to get to the phone after 10 or 15 rings. You can certainly expand that duration based on your preference and needs. So let's go back to call rules. And let's create a rule set. We can call this vacation mode. And it's going to be anytime when I'm on extended away vacation. And now I need to create an action. I'm going to forward my calls, all calls, to another member of my team. And I want that to forward immediately. Doesn't need to ring my phone first. Go straight to Scott. And save action. Now, if I have multiple rules that might conflict with each other, I can move them so that they're prioritized. So in this case, if I'm on vacation, I don't want to have to go through the other rule sets. I want that to take precedence. And you may want to also just prioritize Do Not Disturb, which may be more common than your vacation mode. And then we'll have the direct calls go through after the block call states. If you'd like to customize your busy status rule sets, you can come to this tab here. Currently, when you're in a busy status, the system will use the unanswered call rule sets, which is this tab here. So even when you're on busy, you're going to have, for example, Do Not Disturb or some other status. So if you'd like to create customized ones, just uncheck the yes here. And then we can create our own set of busy status call rules. You can head over to the call blocking rules tab and create a call blocking so we can block either a phone number or an entire prefix. That could be denoted here by a 10-digit number, for example. We want to play a busy signal, congested, hang up, or send to voicemail. Busy signal, fairly obvious what that is here. Congestion will just be as if the call's not going anywhere and would allude to the fact that maybe the number is not actually in service. Then you've got just a straight hang up and of course voicemail. So we have two default audio prompts under message prompts, and these are for the secret code call rule setting, and that can be changed by uploading a new one, basically asking for a password and password incorrect. And just again, if you're curious, if we go over to the actions, it was here. And this is a way to authenticate a caller to go to a next action. Now, if you're not familiar of how to change your status when these would become active, you can do that here from the user portal, where you set your status. You can also do it from your soft phone, should you have it running here on your desktop, and you've got the same statuses here. And in other various phones that work with the Switchvox. Switchvox puts powerful call reporting tools into the hands of the user through a self-service menu under the user portal. Now, if you want to follow along, remember you can use your login as user button here under the extension manage page. That'll bring us over to the user portal. So if a user needs to reference a prior conversation or determine a missed call's information, we have some logs that can be generated in real time by specifying a date range, and results are outputted to the screen or optionally exported via XLS format. And we can see those tools under the reporting menu link here. Reporting, we've got call logs, which are very just basic in and out calls, who called, when, what time, the duration, and then under the actions column, we've got a flow of that as well. So what we're here to discuss mainly is the call reports. Now we've got a number of different field reports here. So call reports will give us further insight into the number of calls, specific durations, capability to display the results even in a chart format based on user preference. We can select single reports such as the total number of calls, broken down by in and out, talk time, the duration, and average call times as well. So we've got my date range set up here, our report breakdown. And for chart reports, you can only select one particular report at a time. A chart report would look something exactly like this. A chart report is exactly what you would expect here. Now for reports that aren't chart based, we can select multiple different report fields. So for example, we can select these 5. We can view that report and output right onto the screen. We've added all the columns from our field selection, And then we can go ahead and output this to XLS format and save it locally to the drive. So that's how users access powerful call reporting tools directly from the Switchvox user portal. Welcome to the user interface phone settings training segment. The phone settings of the user interface gives users control over their handset display options, ringtones, ring settings, and rapid dial key behavior. Users are given access to up to 4 tabs in their features menu depending on the permissions allowed by their extension settings. To access these tabs, we'll log in to the user portal, or in our case, use the login as from the admin menu, and head over to Features, Phone Features. The first tab, Phone Settings, will look familiar if you've set up extensions or extension templates before. This tab gives users customization control over their handset display options, should they have permissions to do so once again. So the Ring Rules tab allows us to create different ringtones to distinguish different types of incoming system calls and use the audio files list from the Ringtones tab. So we could create a rule. What type of ring feedback? Auto answer, standard, ring then answer, visual indication, and our ringtone. The ringtones can be seen here in the Ringtones tab, and you can play them back by downloading them to the local drive. The last tab, Rapid Dial Favorites, allows us to customize what functionality our rapid dial keys have. These can be Switchvox extensions, external contacts, or status indicators. So we've set one up here, the agent status. That's our status indicator on the phone. And this status indicator here that we've set up as admin, this is specifically for logging in and out of the sales queue, which is extension 501, is the login logout extension, and the queue itself is 400. And we can add multiple status indicators onto the phone as well. So status indicators indicate your queue login status, or that there's a call waiting on a call parking space. On a desk phone, these items will go on your rapid dial keys. On a Switchvox softphone app, these items will go in your favorites tab.
One other thing about rapid dial favorites is that they can also be used as BLF keys if permitted. A short key press will dial the rapid dial favorite on the phone. A long key press, when a call is displayed, will pick up that call.
For more detailed explanation of specific rapid dial entry options, click the help icon at the top of the page next to phone features. So that wraps up this segment on the features and functionality of the user interface, how to use it, and what it offers. So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.